This story begins with a girl named Chisato, a girl with a lot of energy, who is called for an emergency at work. On the way, Chisato explains that nowadays to keep peace in the country, a group of special people called Lycoris eliminate anyone who disturbs the society. Elsewhere, in a building, a group of Lycoris are confronting some arms dealers. The dealers are holding a Lycoris hostage, who threaten to kill her if the Lycoris don't leave. The DA's office tells the Lycoris to wait for Chisato's arrival, but a Lycoris named Takina ignores the order and fires a machine gun at the arms dealers. A Lycoris named Fuki gets very angry because she could have killed the hostage and beats her. Chisato had no chance to take action and so she leaves. The DA transfers Takina to a private unit for ignoring orders. Takina heads to her new unit, which is a coffee shop, where she meets Mika, an adult man, Mizuki, an adult woman, and she also meets Chisato, a former Lycoris who was transferred to that unit. After introducing herself, Chisato takes Takina to work with her. Takina tells Chisato about the tower incident, where Chisato confronted a group of terrorists by herself, which destroyed the tower. Takina tells Chisato that she wants to return to the DA. Chisato tells her that she will help her. Takina goes with Chisato to do small jobs, such as delivering coffee, or teaching at a school. Takina asks Chisato what exactly their unit does, to which Chisato replies that they help whoever needs it. Later at a police station, an officer gives them a job about a woman named Sayori, who is being stalked. Chisato and Takina meet Sayori, who shows the girls a photo and says that since she posted that photo on the internet someone has been stalking her. Chisato and Takina see that in the background of the photo, there is a criminal group that stole a batch of weapons. Chisato and Takina invite Sayori to spend the night together, to which she agrees and invites them to her house. Chisato asks Takina to go with Sayori to her house while she looks for some things at home. As Takina and Sayori head to Sayori's house, Takina sees a car following them. Takina is separated from Sayori for a moment and sees how later the car stops next to Sayori and tries to abduct her. Takina pulls out her gun and shoots the men in the car. At that moment Chisato arrives, and stops Takina because she might hurt Sayori. Chisato asks Takina to get rid of a drone that is watching them. She takes care of the criminals using non-lethal bullets and rescues Sayori. A man and a woman in a car talk on a computer with a hacker named Walnut. Walnut asks them why the Allen organization is involved with arms trafficking, and they detonate an explosive in a building to kill the hacker for knowing too much. Some time later, the man who was talking to the hacker enters the coffee shop, which surprises Mika. Walnut and another hacker talk to each other over the internet. The other hacker talks about the Allen Institute, an organization tasked with collecting geniuses from all walks of life who are poor or hindered to help them. Walnut asks another hacker if he revealed the location of the house to Allen, but he laughs and says, "It's time the title of world's greatest hacker changed its name." On the other hand, Mizuki at the coffee shop receives an email from Walnut. Some time later, Chisato arrives at the coffee shop where she finds the man who blew up Walnut's home and talks to him. After the man leaves, Chisato and Takina prepare for a mission to protect a hacker. When they arrive at the meeting place, they are picked up by a person, in a squirrel suit, who is the protection target, Walnut. Walnut wants them to protect him and a suitcase containing important things, because someone is trying to kill him. Later, while Walnut is driving the car, the person who wants to kill him, a hacker named Rabuta, takes control of the car to throw them into the sea. Chisato and Takina destroy the drones that follow the car. Just as they are about to fall into the sea, Walnut regains control of the car. As the car no longer works, they run into a building, where they are attacked by a group of mercenaries. During the battle, Takina realizes that Chisato is very skilled. Takina and Chisato manage to immobilize the mercenaries. Afterwards, Chisato treats a mercenary who was wounded by Takina. He thanks her by warning Chisato not to continue down that route, because there will be an ambush waiting for them. When Chisato wants to warn Takina and Walnut, it was already too late, because Walnut had already opened the door, and gets shot a lot. The mercenaries retreat after killing Walnut. In an ambulance, Chisato and Takina are down for having failed the mission. At that moment, Walnut, who is lying in the ambulance, talks to them, which surprises them. Walnut gets up and takes off his squirrel head, revealing that the person inside the suit is Mizuki. She explains that the suit is bulletproof. Out of Mizuki's suitcase comes a girl, who is the real Walnut. The mission was successfully completed when the enemy thought they had killed Walnut. On the other hand, the man who tried to kill Walnut and rebooted the hacker talk about Walnut's death. Some time later, Chisato realizes that Walnut, who changes her name to Kurumi, will stay with them for a while. Chisato asks Kurumi to try to find out who is the man in the photo passed to her by Sayori. The man from Alan's institution visits Mika's coffee shop again and asks Mika what work they do. Some time later, after the coffee shop closes, several of their friends arrive at the coffee shop to play. Chisato invites Takina to join them, but she is not interested. Takina learns that Chisato will go to the DA facility the next day and asks Chisato to take her with her. The next day, Chisato and Takina arrive at the DA facility. Takina overhears the Lycoris talking about her. Chisato goes for a physical examination and tells Takina to wait for her. Chisato meets Fuki in the locker room. Chisato tells Fuki to visit the coffee shop and their master from time to time. Chisato and Fuki take several exams, where Chisato beats Fuki in all of them. After the exams, Fuki and Chisato meet Commander Kusunoki, who is asked by Chisato why she kicked Takina out of the DA. Kusunoki replies that Takina disobeyed orders, and therefore now they do not know the whereabouts of the guns. Chisato tells her that this is a lie and shows the photo he got of Sayori to Kusunoki, which was taken 3 hours before the operation. Fuki accidentally says that there was radio interference during the operation, which Chisato says is very strange because the missions are being monitored by an artificial intelligence. Kusunoki avoids talking to Chisato any further. Takina, on the other hand, is approached by a girl, who introduces herself as Sakura. Sakura mocks Takina and all the rumors spread about her. Chisato arrives with Fuki on the scene and defends Takina. Commander Kusunoki also arrives on the scene. Takina tries to talk to her but Kusunoki ignores her. Fuki tells Takina that the DA no longer needs her, which angers Chisato. Fuki challenges Chisato to have a mock battle. Chisato accepts Fuki and Sakura's challenge, but Takina runs away dejected. Chisato finds her and encourages her to try to spend time with more people at the coffee shop. She tells Takina that when she decides what she really wants to do, she can do it. Chisato engages in mock battle against Fuki and Sakura. While waiting for Takina to join the mock battle, Chisato demonstrates her ability to dodge bullets. Chisato eliminates Sakura from the competition by shooting her with paint bullets. Takina joins the mock battle and with the help of Chisato manages to eliminate Fuki. Later, while returning home, Chisato receives a photo taken by Kurumi and Chisato sends a photo of her and Takina to Mika. Sometime later, while playing video games, Chisato notices that Takina is wearing men's underwear. Takina tells her that boxers are very comfortable for mobility and that she doesn't have any women's underwear. When Chisato hears that, she tells Takina that she will take her to buy women's underwear. Kurumi continues to investigate about the men in the photo and the missing batch of guns. The next day, Takina and Chisato go shopping for underwear. After buying underwear and having lunch, they go to the aquarium to see the fish. At the aquarium, Chisato tells Takina that she is looking for someone. She says she is looking for that person to thank him. Mika and the man from Alan's Institute talk about Chisato, since the man was the person who gave Chisato to Mika. He tells Mika that Chisato has a God-given talent for the assassination. In a subway station, a group of men led by a green-haired man have suitcases full of guns. Chisato and Takina see that there are many Lycoris on the street, and the police forbid access to a subway station. Takina wants to go, but Chisato tells her she can't because she doesn't have her Lycoris uniform on. The station men draw their guns and fire a large number of bullets at a train arriving at the station. The man realizes that the train is empty and just then a group of Lycoris inside the train start shooting at them. The man flees and while escaping uses a detonator to strike up the subway station, burying his subordinates and the Lycoris in rubble. At the coffee shop, Mika and his friends see the news that there has been an accident at the subway station. Chisato puts Takina's boxers in a bag to discard them. She remembers what Takina told her about comfort and mobility, so she takes off her underwear and puts on Takina's boxers. At that moment, Mizuki enters the room and sees Chisato putting on the boxers. Mizuki starts to tease Chisato, who defends herself by telling her that the boxers belong to Takina. On the other hand, the green-haired man who shot the train is injured and checks the news on his cell phone. He realizes that the incident was labeled as an accident. At that moment, Rabuta appears on his cell phone explaining to him that incidents involving Lycoris are covered up. Rabuta says the man's name is Majima. Rabuta invites Majima to work together, but he declines saying he just has to do something that can't be covered up. Sometime later, Kurumi and Mizuki see the president on the news giving statements about the accident. Kurumi says that maybe the president doesn't know anything. Later, Chisato explains to the others details about a new job they received to protect a man who travels to Japan from the United States. The man is a sclerosis patient who is unable to move and wants to see Japan before he dies. The information says that the man's family was murdered and also tried to kill him. Sometime later, an elderly man in a wheelchair who speaks through a computer arrives at the coffee shop. He is Mr. Matsushita, the customer that they must protect this time. Takina hears from Chisato that she has a mechanical heart. Afterwards, Chisato and Takina take Matsushita around various tourist spots in Tokyo. Mika and Kurumi realize that a man named Jin is following the girls and Mr. Matsushita. They send Mizuki to pick up Chisato, Takina and Mr. Matsushita, but Jin stops her. They warn Chisato and Takina that Jin is coming for them. Takina splits from them to stop Jin. Kurumi manages to get Jin's whereabouts from a tracker that Mizuki put on her when he caught her. Takina tries to stop Jin, but cannot. Jin wants to kill Mr. Matsushita. Mr. Matsushita arrives at a place to wait for Jin, and when Jin appears, Mr. Matsushita asks Chisato to kill Jin because he killed his family 20 years ago. Chisato and Jin get into a fight, which is won by Chisato, who hits Jin with several rubber bullets. Mr. Matsushita asks Chisato to kill Jin as he knows she is one of the children rescued by Alan and they have a mission to accomplish. However, Chisato tells Matsushita that she does not want to take people's lives and instead prefers to save people as someone saved her long ago. Hearing that, the computer in Mr. Matsushita's wheelchair shuts down. Later, Mika asks Jin who sent him to kill Matsushita. He replies that a woman hired him with a large amount of money. Mizuki explains that after investigating, the man in the wheelchair was a terminal patient who had disappeared from the hospital, and Kurumi explains that someone used technology to talk to them. At night, a Lycoris follows a man to kill him, but before she can accomplish her task, she is run over by Majima and is then killed by Mashida's subordinates. Sometime later, Kusunoki receives a report about several Lycoris who were killed. Takina also receives information about the murder from the Lycoris, who work alone, and decides to live with Chisato for a while. On the other hand, Majima meets with Rabuta, who tells him about the Lycoris. Rabuta shows a picture of Chisato to Majima as the next target, but Majima is angry because Rabuta won't give him the location of the Lycoris headquarters. He gives Rabuta 3 days to find out the location of the Lycoris headquarters, or he will kill him. Rabuta calls the people at the Allen Institution for help, but they don't help him because his current situation is self-inflicted. The girls wait for Kurumi to download information from the DA servers. Rabuta investigates Chisato and finds the location of her house. Later, 2 men sneak into Chisato's condo, but are easily kicked out by Chisato. Rabuta sees this by a drone and thinks Majima will be interested. At that moment, Majima enters Robuta's room, and when he is about to kill him, he sees Chisato's video on the screen and becomes interested in her. Kurumi tells Chisato that the people who are attacking the Lycoris are the same ones who have the missing guns. Chisato wonders how they discover the Lycoris, to which Kurumi replies that maybe they already know about the uniform. Chisato puts a coat over her uniform so she won't be discovered, and leaves the coffee shop. After Chisato leaves, Kurumi runs off to tell Mika and the others that she already knows how they found the 4 Lycoris who were killed. And she shows Mika, Mizuki and Takina a picture of the 4 Lycoris together. Kurumi also shows them a picture of Chisato that was in the archive. Mika warns Chisato that the people who are killing the Lycoris are after her. At that moment, a car speeds towards Chisato to run her over. Mika and the others hear the crash through the cell phone. Takina runs off towards Chisato's location. Majima gets out of a car and sees Chisato lying on the ground. He sees the Allen Institution necklace on Chisato's neck. At that moment, she uses the coat she was wearing to confuse the enemy and escape. When Majima follows Chisato in a car, she stops running. Majima shoots at her, however Chisato dodges Majima's bullet and she shoots Majima. Chisato hits Majima with non-lethal bullets. As she approaches him, Majima spits paint into Chisato's eyes, blinding her. Majima asks Chisato what her mission is, since she is Allen's child. Majima kicks Chisato and is about to shoot her. Just then, Takina shoots Majima and his subordinates, saving Chisato. Mizuki and Mika arrive in a car at the scene and pick up Chisato and Takina. As they flee, one of Majima's subordinates targets them with an RPG. Kurumi uses the drone to hit that subordinate, who fires the RPG and hits close to Majima. Chisato and the others manage to flee the scene. Sometime later, Majima arrives at Robuta's room and tells Robuta that he is very pleased with his work. Majima also asks Robuta to investigate everything about Chisato.
I hope you liked the recap. If so, don't forget to subscribe and like it.